Very small set of students though.
They'll keep joining in while the presentation is going. That wouldn't be an
Hmm.
issue. Or if you want to wait a few more minutes, then you
We'll
can also.
we'll give it one more minute at least.
Sure.
We'll start at 4:05.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I guess we can start now. So we have 7 people right now to get started with.
Okay.
And then the three of us makes total 10. All right.
Yeah.
Good. I like even numbers. Um, Good evening, everyone. कैसे हैं आप सब?
Guys, it will be great if we interact and switch on our cameras as well.
आप सभी को थोड़ी सी तकलीफ देना चाहूंगा मैं and like Janvi is saying, can we all please turn on the cameras?
Okay, meanwhile that is happening,
Hmm.
let me give everyone an introduction of Sanjal Bhakri. So Mr. Sanjal Bhakri is a passionate mentor
It's
and
Bhakri.
Bhakri. Okay, I'm so sorry. Bhakri.
That's fine. Yeah.
Is a passionate mentor and coach with over 15 years of experience in leadership, technology, and personal development. Holding a degree in business, technology, and people development from Harvard, he empowers professionals and students to build strong character, effective communication, and set impactful goals. Sanjay supports a diverse range of learners from startup leaders to corporate employees to higher ed students and K-12 students as well. So, about the students here, as I've already mentioned, most of these students are from the BTech background, and they have just moved from a prototyping track where they built their product, physical as well as their softwares, and now they're moving to the startup track where they'll be learning how to set up a business, a proper business, how to register their business, and make strategies in order to work within the market that they'll be going into. So I think let's start with the session from here.
श्योर मगर मेरी एक तकलीफ अभी तक सॉल्व नहीं हुई है और मैं चाहूँगा सभी लोग या तो चैट में एक्टिव हो जाएं या अपना कैमरा ऑन कर लें तो ताकि मुझे थम्स अप दिखा दें बिकॉज आई डोंट लाइक डूइंग मोनोलॉग्स एट ऑल मुझे खुद से बात करनी होती तो मैं वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करके आप सभी को शेयर कर देता तो प्लीज़ मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि मतलब एक्टिवली चैट में पार्टिसिपेट करें कुछ सवाल हो तो पूछें और मुझे आवाज सुनती रहनी चाहिए तभी मजा आएगा आप सभी लोग हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में कंफर्टेबल हैं
Yes, sir.
यस नो परफेक्ट एक दो तीन and I hope Janvi and Akhilesh you could help me sort of make sure that people are not left behind ठीक है no child left behind okay let me share my screen and we can get started प्लीज बताइएगा जब आप पूरी स्क्रीन देख पा रहे होंगे Start presentation. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
प्रेजेंटेशन दिख रही है सभी को स्क्रीन के ऊपर yes no maybe
I think there were a few thumbs up. So I think it is very good.
ओके परफेक्ट ठीक है क्योंकि मैं सभी को देख नहीं पाऊंगा आई बी शेयरिंग माय स्क्रीन तो probably you can let me know when people are responding or there is a question in the chat box. I appreciate that.
Sure.
मुझे अक्सर जब ये समरी वर्जन में मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन दिया जाता है आई फील इट्स वेरी रोबोटिक एंड मोनोलिथिक तो मैं अपना इंट्रोडक्शन थोड़ा सा खुद भी दूंगा मगर उससे पहले लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड हम यहाँ पे आए क्यों हैं. वाई डू यू थिंक वी आर हियर क्या सीखने आए हैं आप लोग मैं आपकी थोड़ी सी अंडरस्टैंडिंग समझना चाह रहा हूँ तो इफ people can drop text in the chat box or unmute and just talk. I think that will be much more appreciated. मुझे वैसे कोई जल्दी नहीं है अगर आप बोलेंगे नहीं तो मैं वेट करता रहूंगा जब तक कोई बोलेगा नहीं. आई होप दैट्स ओके विद जानवी. I if somebody's saying something I can't hear it.
Someone said in the chat box, so for digital marketing expertise.
Okay. तो आपको लगता है कि आप इस सेशन के बाद डिजिटल मार्केटिंग के एक्सपर्ट बन जाएंगे ऐसा कितने लोगों को लगता है. Stop sharing so that I can see what's happening. Digital marketing expertise. New things from me. Okay. Right. How can digital marketing help our startup to get more reach? Maybe. I like that word, maybe. Probably. Okay. ठीक है. While you are all typing, let me share my full screen. I'm sorry, you can see my calendar. I don't want to do that. Okay. हम यहाँ पे इसलिए हैं क्योंकि ऑफ कोर्स बाय नो मीन्स हम 2 घंटे में डिजिटल मार्केटिंग के एक्सपर्ट बन जाएंगे या बन सकते हैं. देयर इज अनदर कोर कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ स्टार्टअप लीडर्स और वो ये गलती करते हैं कि दे ट्राई टू डू एवरीथिंग बाय देमसेल्व्स. But at the same time, what they need to do is they need to be experts in strategy. They need to be experts in sort of jack of everything and then probably expert of one, which is either the product or sales. So what we'll do is we'll keep the discussion very strategic. How marketing and digital marketing critical for a startup, and understand a few core fundamentals of digital marketing. We'll not go too much into technicality because again, in 2 hours, we will probably not be able to cover all of that. Also, as startup founders, you probably need to know what things are, but you might not have to do it by yourself. And that's why delegation is very important as well. While you understand what are the core concepts in digital marketing. Um, Before we start, again, I think it's important for people to know me. Like Janvi said, I bring around 15 years of experience in different areas. I started off as a software developer myself as well, and worked with different organizations. So let me just quickly play a short 1.5 minute video for you all to just have a sense of what I've done so far. Okay. And again, please, I would appreciate if you can just unmute and make sure that you are saying something, because I'm not used to training sessions where people are not speaking at all. I have plenty of time. I'll wait until people are saying something, but it'll make way more sense, and we will have way more fun if everybody is interacting. Make sense?
Perfect, perfect. Yes, sir.
Brilliant. Yes, that's what I love. आवाजें आनी चाहिए मेरे को, शोर वाली नहीं, आवाजें वाली. Okay. I don't think you can hear the audio, but that's fine. I call myself GBCD, Gurgaon Born Confused Earlyite. Engineer like most of you. Started with Accenture. Sorry, I'm giving you a background narration. Worked with Microsoft for a bit. Did my MBA from Smurfit Business School in Dublin. Worked with Google for a bit. Worked with Audi, came back to India that time. And then I did my second master's from Harvard in education leadership and how people learn. Right now, I'm working with Pratham Education Foundation. I'm a certified life coach as well, and this is my own venture, Sabki Mentoring. I am a tarot reader and I meditate as well. You can read more about me on my LinkedIn or this QR code. Okay. Any questions? Again, please unmute and say yes, no, maybe, could be. Yeah.
Sabki mentoring is your startup right now.
Yeah, that's my personal coaching services
Okay.
startup. Yeah.
So, like, when did you started that?
I came back to India in 2021 and I started that in 2021, end of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, Somebody said in the text earlier that some of you might be wanting to learn new things, and I'm here for the same thing as well. I would love to learn about your ideas, about who you are as people, as individuals, as startup founders and creators. But before we do that, I always start all of my sessions with this one question. And the question is, and everybody can participate, be it NASCOM folks or the students, इंसान और जानवर में क्या फर्क होता है? It's a very basic fundamental question, but I would want everybody to either type it in or probably speak it out. एक ही difference है fundamental. What is that?
Consciousness.
संभव consciousness बोला, बहुत नजदीक है. It might not be the right answer. Well, it's very close to the right answer, but it's not the right answer. Anybody else?
So maybe mankind learns from their mistakes and after that.
वो तो जानवर भी सीख लेते हैं. I think if you feed a cow like a piece of meat, it won't eat it, right? उनको पता है कि उनके लिए क्या सही है, क्या गलत है. So choice of living is their option as well. I think animals also choose a few things, even though at basic level, but they do choose. What else? Please, मैं सभी से participation चाहूंगा. It's a humble request. हम सभी लोग आए हैं मिलके एक साथ समय बिता रहे हैं, तो let's make the most of it. सवाल है, इंसान और जानवर में क्या फर्क होता है? Very basic question.
I believe moral values.
Moral values. Okay, I mean, again very close. दिशा सही पकड़ी आपने. जवाब अभी भी थोड़ा सा गलत है, मगर अगर आप देखें तो जानवर भी एक दूसरे का ध्यान रखते हैं कभी कभी, अगर आप इफ यू see in some instances animals also take care of other animals, not just from the same species. What else? Anything? Anybody else? Anything else? Janvi, Akhilesh, maybe you want to pitch in your thoughts. They can't retaliate. Well, I mean, I don't know if you have had an encounter with a lion or any aggressive animal. They can retaliate.
Um, if we think about it, I mean, according to me, I'd say that the one difference between us and animals would be that maybe that we have the sense of greed, not in a bad way, but like in a good way, that we
Hmm.
want to do better every now and
Hmm.
then. I don't know how else to put it, but yeah.
No, no, that makes sense. I think again, like I said, you all are kind of heading the right direction. It might not be the right answer, but it's very close. So humans are intellectual and smarter than animals. Um, okay, मैं बता देता हूँ so that we can sort of understand what I'm trying to share. There's one fundamental difference between human beings and animals is the ability to ask questions, curiosity. यूएस में किसी ने सवाल पूछा था कि आप जानवर क्यों पालते हैं, व्हाई डोंट यू हैव किड्स, एंड somebody answered because they don't ask questions. I mean, they might ask questions very rudimentary, but the higher order thinking, the ability to ask questions, is what makes us humans, and that's um, quintessential for our sort of evolution as well. न्यूटन पेड़ के नीचे बैठा था एंड फल गिरा, कौन सा फल था, कौन बताएगा?
They say apple.
Apple.
Apple, right? And then he asked क्यों गिरा, right? And that's how we have been discovering मुझे ठंड लगी तो क्यों लगी, and so on and so forth. So I think to make any person, project, training, product, startup, company, whatever, successful, um, we will have to keep asking questions. If you want to learn, if you want to keep learning, if you want to keep growing, if you want to keep staying human beings, then you keep asking questions. आपने देखा होगा 14-15 साल तक we are very curious, we keep asking questions, the younger sort of kids. But as we grow old, we start taking things for granted, and we start learning a little lesser every year. So that is a humble request from everyone in the session. Keep asking questions. If you can't ask questions, then start creating a list of questions, and probably we'll address those by the end of the session. ठीक है? Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, perfect.
Or it's nonsense?
No, it's perfect.
कोई किसी ने तो बोला nonsense है. Just kidding. Okay, so let's move on. I will now not stop sharing my screen. Again, you're able to see my calendar. Sorry. So let's start with the basic, again, idea about marketing. Who can tell me what is marketing? क्या है marketing? Again, you can drop text on the chat box, and Janvi and Akhilesh, if you could just uh, share what those texts are. Or if you can just unmute yourself and just say one word which comes to your mind when you hear the term marketing.
To get to know people out there about our product or service.
Okay. Awareness is what I took from that line. In fact, I like the words that you used: people, product, or services. What else?
Connection,
Excuse me, can you repeat yourself?
connection.
Connection. Okay. Yeah, that could be one other word. Anybody else?
So
Could you repeat yourself?
the research,
नहीं, मेरे को आवाज क्लियर नहीं आई है.
the research.
Research. Okay. Okay. I'm not saying that you're wrong. You are all right. But I'll boil it down to 3 or 4 core things in what marketing is.
Okay, so
Anybody else?
we have in comments the ability to change the audience into consumers.
Okay. So the ability, marketing is the ability to convert a potential buyer into an actual customer.
And then Vikas is saying promoting, selling, and distributing products.
Promoting, selling, distributing. ये
RF
तीनों
is
चीजें
saying
खैर नहीं होती. Yeah,
RF is
go on.
saying making our products or services more visible and reach the right audience.
Right.
And then Ishita is saying it's about telling the right people about your product or service at the right time.
Brilliant. I think we are very, very close. Right people, right audience. Last के दो points में at the right place. So that is exactly what it is. It's not promotion, it's not advertising, it's communicating the right message. The right message means uh, what's the content, like content about the product, and what's the context, what are you trying to sell, or what is the context of somebody using that product to the right people, people who actually are in need, or people who we are trying to solve a problem for, uh, and using the right channel. Now, that channel could be a traditional marketing channel like a banner in a mall, or could be a digital channel, which is something that we're going to talk a little bit more about. So, marketing is, again, at the core, right message to right people using the right channel. These are the core three sort of things which make marketing what marketing is. Okay. And again, uh, to put it differently, what, how, and where. That's the core of marketing. What do you mean by what? Meaning, I don't know how many of you have worked on your problem statements or your business plans. But that is, I think we'll also talk about your startup pitches. And whenever you have your business model canvas session, you'll probably be thinking about these things. But what is the problem that you're trying to solve? And how are you solving it? That is essentially your service or your product, right? So what do you say is the first element of marketing? आप लोगों ने वो ads देखी होंगी पुरानी. I am forgetting the name of the channel, but you might have heard. पहले मैं बड़ा परेशान था, पहले मुझे कोई बात नहीं करता था. सुना है ये कभी किसी ने देखी है एड्स ऐसी? फिर मुझे ये मिला और फिर मेरा जीवन बदल गया, राइट?
Those English speaking posts wala ads and
हाँ,
hair styling ads.
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली. पहले मैं बड़ा परेशान था, मैं किसी से बात करने लायक नहीं था, मगर फिर मुझे मिला ABC, नास्कॉम ट्रेनिंग फॉर इंग्लिश और whatever, और फिर मेरा जीवन बदल गया. नाउ आई कैन स्पीक फ्लुएंटली इन इंग्लिश एंड आई कैन टॉक टू पीपल, आई कैन डू दिस, राइट? सो दैट इज लाइक what is the problem and what is the product. Okay, that's a key fundamental of what marketing is. The second is, how do you say it? Uh, who knows about ethos, pathos, and logos? This is art of persuasion. Aristotle sort of gave these terms to us. Again, either chat box or unmute yourself.
No idea.
Okay. So पहली चीज क्या जरूरी थी कि हम क्या बोल रहे हैं, मीनिंग प्रॉब्लम क्या है और हमारा सर्विस क्या है, सोल्यूशन क्या है, प्रोडक्ट क्या है, राइट? हम कैसे बोल रहे हैं इज ऑल्सो अ वेरी बिग कॉम्पोनेंट ऑफ व्हाट मार्केटिंग इज, भले ही वो डिजिटल मीडिया से हो या हमारी ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया से हो. हाउ यू से समथिंग, फॉर एग्जाम्पल शुड आई, किसका नाम लूं मैं यहाँ पे? किसी का नाम बताइए मुझे।
संभव।
संभव। संभव। मैं एक शब्द बोलने से ही उसका मीनिंग और उसका टोन और उसका आई थिंक सेंस बदल सकता हूँ, राइट?
यस।
आप घर पे जाएंगे एंड योर मॉम डैड और हुएवर इज देयर एंड दिल से योर नेम एंड यू विल गेट टू नो मेरी आज डांट पड़ने वाली है या मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगने वाला है, राइट? दीज आर अगेन वेरी वेरी सटल marketing sort of tools or skills that marketing experts use when they are creating a content, भले वो लिखने में हो या वीडियो हो या ऑडियो हो, whatever that might be. Okay. So these three concepts we'll try to understand by looking at a small video, and then we'll come back and take a few examples on how have we seen this in our life, in what ad for that matter. Okay, so let's quickly have a look. How do I make sure that people are listening to the audio as well? Just give me 1 second. I'll just quickly fix the audio of this thing. I'm sorry about
Sanjay,
this.
like while sharing the screen, there is an option of sharing device audio as well, include sound.
Okay, let me see. But the point is, I'm not even able to listen to the sound in my system. Okay, it's unmuted. Good. Okay, let me try that now. 1 second, please. सभी लोग मेरे साथ हैं?
Yes.
Is everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Include sound. Perfect. Thank you, Akhilesh. Yet again, you're going to be comfortable with my calendar by the end of the evening. Okay.
It's okay, sir. Ours also looks like the same only.
Brilliant.
How do you persuade someone to see things?
Can you all listen to this?
Yeah, it's audible.
Brilliant.
Yes, sir.
We'll start again. Oops.
Your way. The Greek philosopher Aristotle. How do you persuade someone to see things your way? The Greek philosopher Aristotle had some good ideas on how to persuade people. Among his most powerful techniques were what he called the three appeals, designed to ask an audience to believe his argument. Aristotle called these three appeals ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos appeals to the audience by asking them to trust the person making the argument. Pathos appeals to the audience's emotions, asking them to believe because they care. Logos appeals to the audience's sense of logic and rationality, asking them to believe because the argument makes sense. Using the appeals can make your writing or speaking more persuasive, and if you can spot them when they're being used or misused by others, you can also protect yourself against manipulation. Let's examine the three appeals more closely. First up, ethos. One way to win over a skeptical audience is to convince them that you're trustworthy, knowledgeable, and well-meaning. You can build ethos by referencing relevant experience, by explaining your credentials, or even by using good sources to show that you know your subject. When presenting, dressing and speaking professionally will boost your audience's confidence in you. When writing, making sure your documents have a professional tone and are error-free can also enhance your ethos. Next, we'll address pathos, the appeal to emotion. Many popular movies, books, and songs appeal to emotion. These appeals often engage positive emotions like joy or hope, but other times... No, please. pathos can engage negative emotions as well. However, in academic writing, a simple tug on the heartstrings won't suffice. To use pathos effectively, incorporate vivid imagery and intentionally emotional and impactful adjectives and verbs. Academics can support their arguments most effectively with logos, an appeal to logic and rationality, by building an argument with facts, figures, and well thought out reasoning. By appealing to the audience with logic, you draw your conclusions as rational, rendering the opposition less persuasive, sometimes even as irrational. Not all conclusions are easy to prove, though, and the responsibility falls on you to make the case and convince the audience. While many arguments rely on one or two of these methods, some of the most effective use a combination of all three. The most important aspect of persuasive writing is to create a credible line of thought for your message that audiences will follow. If you do it carefully, they very well might arrive at the same conclusion. For more information on persuasive writing and speaking, visit our website at writingcenter.tamu.edu.
You can do that if you need to. All right. Oh, wait. I don't want to start it again. Okay. All right. Any questions and thoughts on this right now? And again, by this, by no means this means that you have to start becoming content creator or write all your content by yourself. But at the same time, you will use this concept not just for marketing, but for your pitching, for creating a business plan, for finding your co-founders, for hiring a team, because you will have to sell your product effectively. For example, if you are in healthcare and you're making a technology or a drug or something which is sensitive to the people, then you will use ethos more than anything else. आपने देखा होगा हार्पिक की एड में दे जनरली और सेंसोडाइन की एड में you'll see doctors. I don't know if they're real doctors or not, but the reason that they're doing it because they want to show that they are credible. For and at the same time in a Coca-Cola's ad, you will see an emotion which is pathos coming to play. And then for anything else like B2B mostly, you see logos and probably ethos playing a part. Anybody would like to give me a few examples of any of these in any of the things that you've seen recently?
Dhruv Rathi's whole YouTube channel is based at logos. The last one, I guess.
Logos, yeah. I think he also used pathos or uh, I mean, he uses emotions in his tonality as well, if you look at it carefully. चैन से सोना है तो जाग जाइए. सुना होगा आप लोगों ने.
Yeah.
What else? Any other examples? Maybe something close to what you're working on in the similar industry. I don't know if you've done some competitive analysis or not, but अगर आप लोगों ने अपनी इंडस्ट्री में या अपने आसपास के एरियाज में कोई एड या कोई ऐसा कैंपेन देखा हो जिसमें आपने इन तीनों का इस्तेमाल होते हुए देखा हो, क्लियरली यू कैन आइडेंटिफाई दैट. लेट्स थिंक अबाउट इट फॉर अ मिनट. अगेन मैं आगे नहीं बढ़ूंगा जब तक सभी से रिस्पांस नहीं मिलेगा. वी हैव प्लेनी ऑफ टाइम. वी कैन डू दिस इन 2 or 3 सेशंस, बट आई वुड वांट एवरीबॉडी टू बी एंगेज्ड. प्लीज. नहीं देखा है किसी ने कभी कुछ भी? प्रियांशु, व्हाट इज दिस ग्रेट खली एड? इसमें क्या यूज होता है? या कैडबरीज चॉकलेट में क्या यूज हुआ है? which one, which element is being used in that?
पैथोस भी हुआ बिकॉज इमोशंस पे काफी करते हैं वो रिलेशनशिप्स की एज अ जेस्चर आप चॉकलेट देते हो.
राइट. दिवाली को मीठा बनाइए, है ना? even though they're selling sugar.
दिवाली की जितनी भी एड्स है सब में पैथोस यूज होता है क्योंकि वो ऐसे
Right.
रिलेशंस यूज करते हैं.
Can anybody give me an example of logos? Logic के साथ कोई ad आपको दिखी हो? Hero bikes. What's the ad? Harsh? You can type it if you can't say.
Uh, can I pitch in?
Sure, absolutely, please.
So, an example for logos ad, I think, would be Apple advertisements where they highlight all the features of the iPhone and all the other ads that they make of the products. Even if it's MacBook, they'll highlight all the features. So I think that will be counted in logos.
Yeah, they look at, they show you a picture, they show you the security is what they sell as well. Another example of logos was, what was it? The hmm, Flipkart. No, Echo. I think जो insurance के जो financial services होती हैं,
Mhm. They basically
save,
force us to take smart
yeah,
choices and things like that.
yeah, makes you think and create a logical or make a logical decision, right? So again, you have to start thinking about these things in your products and your ideas as well, right? Is it all making sense? Yes, Priyanshu. I love
So I said
questions.
Flipkart for logos.
Flipkart for logos. Flipkart for, I think they use celebrities, um, Amitabh Bachchan and like folks like, what's her name? I forget the name. रणबीर कपूर की कौन है वाइफ?
Alia Bhatt.
Alia Bhatt. Yeah, I'm forgetting the name. I'm sorry. So I mean, they use celebrities. So I don't know how much of logos are they using. But again, it could be a combination of logos and pathos or ethos. So it has to be a combination of either. One last question on this topic, and then we'll move on. Is what's the biggest selling emotion of all times? What sells the most?
Sadness.
What's that?
Sadness.
Wow, that was gloomy. I mean, you're close, but okay. Family related. Hmm. इसका order नहीं पता है, but 3 or 4 things are like the key market winners. Um, any religion, you pick up any religion in the world, they are the best marketing folks out there in the world. And what sells the most is fear. नर्क में जाएंगे आप अगर आप ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो. सुना है कभी? Again, no offense to any
Yes, sir.
religion. All I'm saying is that fear sells a lot. Sex sells a lot. uh, and then is adrenaline, Mountain Dew. I think in earlier times, when they used to sell cigarettes, they used to sell it as a lifestyle. When you see any luxury product, they're selling it as a lifestyle, and it's an irrational buy. So they sell it, for the driving pleasure or things of that sort. Somebody has their hand raised. Karan. Karan, if you're saying something, you're on mute right now. You have your hand raised. And while you're doing that, I'll share my screen here again.
And then there is an automobile company logo, Hyundai, that also like signifies connecting, like for joining hands with the customer.
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely, I think again, like I said, by no means we all have to be creative writers or content creators. At the same time, we need to understand these fundamentals of writing a pitch, creating a marketing campaign, creating a content around a small short video, and we need to consciously choose which of these areas we're touching and how are we trying to reach our customers. Sambhav, I think Sambhav and Karan, they had their hand raised. If you can just
I have
quickly
a
ask a question.
question.
Yes.
So as a brand, we should keep one identity. Like, we should pursue ethos or pathos, or we should use a combination.
That's a great question. Can I sort of tell you the answer in 5 minutes once we look
Sure,
at
sure,
the
sure.
next three slides? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's a good question. All right, so we'll move. We'll not look at the video again. And the third sort of core for marketing will be, where do you say it? Marketing channel. Again, traditional medias or digital mediums. Now, this all is worthless without the who, without the audience, without the customer. We talked about the problem, we talked about the product, the solution, we talked about what is the tonality of that ad or a content or whatever it is that we're trying to do, and where are we trying to reach our audience. But to get all those answers, and this is linked to your question, Sambhav, who are we doing it for? What is the problem that we're trying to solve? And that will then decide and sort of inform all of the other elements.
Okay.
Okay.
But like, it's true for the brands like Coca-Cola, because their audience are going to be the same throughout. So they like pursue pathos or in their advertisement. But in some brands, for example Apple, they have to follow all three at one go, because their audience are different. They have teenagers as well, they have elderly audience. So like, what should brand carry?
No, that's a fair point. All I'm saying is how big your audience is. Essentially, let's say for Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you might have seen that they always have young,
Hmm.
new, and fresh brand ambassadors. People who are the talk of the town recently. Those are the ones who are Pepsi's and Coke's brand ambassadors, especially for their cold drink business. Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they are too big to fail. They're in multiple businesses. But who is the audience? What are they trying to capture? Uh, in all of our cases as startups, we are not making a smartphone right now. We are not making a drink or a beverage right now. But if we are, then we have to choose who's going to be the first mover,
Hmm.
right? So
Okay.
we'll come to that. We'll definitely talk about that more in depth. But so this is the core of marketing. Any questions on this right now?
No,
For
no,
now.
no, it's clear.
Okay. Good. Anybody else? Anything? Any questions? Anything that might be going through your mind right now? Again, please, I would appreciate if people can talk or chat or do something to make me feel that you are with me. Nothing? Silence? Unless there is something in the chat. I can't see the chat.
There is nothing in the chat as
There's nothing in the chat as well. इतना boring हो रहा है? Maybe I'm not doing a good job. मैं पहले बहुत परेशान था. मैं भी अपनी एक पुरानी फोटो दिखाता हूँ अभी यहाँ पे, जो मैंने बहुत सदियों पहले ली थी. If I'm not doing a good job in engaging the audience while I'm talking about marketing, I'm failing miserably at my job. So, folks, please don't make me feel this bad. आया किसी का कोई रिस्पॉन्स या नहीं?
well.
Wow, tough audience.
Tough one to crack.
हाँ जी.
People are saying not at all. You are doing good.
Okay, good. ठीक है. Thank you. Appreciate the vote of confidence by one or two people out of the 24. But ठीक है, इनसे भी हम बात करेंगे थोड़े समय बाद.
their
So
hand, their thumbs ups and heart
great, great.
emojis. For-
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate. I think uh, पता लगते रहना चाहिए, and that's what we are trying to learn as well. अगर हम ऑडियंस से, अगर आप सोचिए आप एक प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं, सर्विस बना रहे हैं, एंड ऑडियंस इज नॉट एट ऑल रिस्पॉन्सिव, हाउ वुड यू फील? आई थिंक it's all part of our regular interaction as well. So think of this as just a medium for you and your product to go out there in the market. It's as it has to be as interactive as talking from one to many in a workshop, for that matter. Marketing has been evolving since quite some time, as you knew, as you know. In the past, there were yellow pages. I don't know, you folks might be too young to remember those. Televisions पे जो ad आती हैं, अभी भी आती हैं, but now I think YouTube has uh, replaced that. Phones have replaced the bigger screens. Newspaper ads have been going down. You see a lot of government ads now on newspapers rather than the big banner ads. They are coming on all digital. Digital is affordable, trackable, and it's way more effective uh, than a traditional media. So they've been evolving. So, like I said, the traditional mode of advertising or marketing was very push oriented. We used to boil the ocean, essentially. A big newspaper ad. When I used to work for Audi, we used to give extremely big newspaper ads, front page, back, whatever, just to boil the ocean, just to kind of have our name out, and then probably generate 2,000 to 20,000 leads per month from those ads. Uh, but because of social media and how personalized everything is right now, because we have all installed millions of apps on our systems, on our devices, and if you remember, you've always checked two boxes. I acknowledge, I consent to give all my access, cookies, whatnot, to whatever the company is. So now, because of that, there's so much data for individuals, and that data is now being used to do targeted advertisements. And that's, again, way more cheaper. You're not boiling the ocean, you're boiling like a smaller set of uh, audience, and then you're getting way more conversions from them. Okay. And then eventually the second phase of digital marketing came in, wherein it's both push and pull. It really depends on what are we trying to achieve. Any questions so far? Because we've talked about the core of what marketing is. And again, the core of marketing is the core of digital marketing as well. Digital marketing is slightly different because it's more technical. It needs more research from your end, as well as it needs more data from the market that we're working in. But the fundamentals remain the same. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
Anything
sir.
in the chat?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
All right. Let's keep moving. Again, you can find these definitions out there. Again, this is not going to be a technical session or a session which I would just do all the talking. Would love for you to share your thoughts around this as well. Essentially, it means all the marketing things that we've learned happening on digital platforms, websites, landing pages, social media, email, mobile, even texts is form of digital marketing. Uh, Cold calling, not so much, but yeah, in a certain way. SEO, social pay per click, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now let's move. You can probably take a note of this thing, and probably next few sessions, next few slides as well. Um, Maybe a few later down, a few slides now. Digital marketing is all about, like we understood, it's about the audience, the digital devices that we use, digital platforms that people are using, digital media. It could be, again, a blog, a website, a pop up in your email, a pop up when you're playing a game, Could be any form of media, digital data of people. There is a new law out there in the market. Everybody should know. It's called Digital Personal Data Protection Act. In India, this is the first time that the government has launched something like this. I'm also responsible to protect a couple of organizations from this law. Have the the infrastructure ready for the law. So have this at the back of your mind as well. That how um, cognizantly are you collecting this data? Are you taking consent? Are you making sure that you're keeping the data safe? Because most of our startups that we are all working on are on technology. You'll have databases, you'll have data warehouses to manage all the data, to make sense of all the data. So the data security is also one big element to it. And then digital technologies, and we'll look at the technology landscape in just a bit. So audience मतलब कौन वो क्या क्या तरीके के devices use कर रहे हैं? Do you want to do long form videos? There are certain set of people who are consuming long form videos. There are certain set of people who are consuming short form videos. What kind of devices they're using for such videos? What kind of websites? What kind of softwares that they're using, and so on. So note these down because these are the things that you will start asking when you're building your digital marketing plan as well. And we'll come to that in just a bit. Okay. And I'll share this presentation with you all. Don't worry about it. Okay. Uh, so these are types of digital marketing. I know you've heard quite a few of these. For example, search engine optimization is very basic. I think most of the money or most powerful tool is engine optimization. Pay per click is another mode or type of digital marketing wherein you place specific YouTube ads on YouTube, and YouTube, you pay YouTube based on the number of clicks that those ads are getting. Creating viral content, video marketing, email promotions, social media marketing, and so on and so forth. Again, each of these will have a single line definition to it. We will not go too much into the depth of it because all of this material is out there available for you to see. And I can share this presentation with you and you can go and do your own research. But at the same time, all of this will depend on who the audience is. Let's say if you are creating a product for elderly, somebody had an idea on waste management. Who's the audience? Is it a B2B? Is it a B2C? Is it 30 to 50-year-olds? Is it 50-year-old and above? Is it 20 to 30-year-old? So that will, probably, most probably decide which channel or which type of marketing or digital marketing you'll be going forward with. So it's important to know uh, very briefly about what they are. Again, we're not going to go through definition of each of those. They're very self-explanatory. This is also very important to know. Again, I'll share this with you and we'll take a couple of examples from this. Um, uh, and this will be a very big element of your own digital marketing strategy or marketing strategy in general. For example, customer acquisition cost, how much that cost is, and that will also potentially help you filter out some of the platforms that you might say no to, because there's so much out there. You can't do everything possibly. So you'll have to figure out what is making financial sense to you. What is the return on investment? For example, if you want to invest on building a very strong, robust website, and well, you have an app which does most of your work, and do you want to invest that much amount on the website, and is that a parameter that you would want to measure in the long run? And those are the questions that you'll ask your core team and yourself while you're creating your marketing strategy. Let me take one example in this. Conversion rate. Uh, can anybody tell me what conversion rates are? What are the standard conversion rates for, let's say, mass email communication or mass email campaigns? What is the conversion rate of a website click to, again, purchase? जस्ट इन जनरल आपके ख्याल में क्या होगा वो? एवरी प्रोडक्ट इन एवरी इंडस्ट्री इज डिफरेंट, बट अप्रोक्सीमेटली क्या आता है आपके दिमाग में कन्वर्जन रेट का सुन के?
20%.
व्हाट, वो किसका?
Email.
ईमेल? ओके, एनीबडी एल्स वुड लाइक टू ऐड टू दैट? इट्स रॉन्ग, बट ये कम है या ज्यादा है? आई विल नॉट शेयर दैट राइट अवे. एनीबडी, मे बी इन द चैट बॉक्स.
Email 2%.
Mm-hmm. What about website?
I guess 30.
हम गेस कर रहे
Uh,
हैं ना, ये अभी बिल्कुल ही वाइल्ड, एकदम
10%.
वाइल्ड गेस है.
Yeah.
वी बीइंग वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रादर. संभव तो बहुत ऑप्टिमिस्टिक हो गए थे. ईमेल का इज 1%
If we are
अप्रोक्सीमेटली.
targeting right audience.
Yeah, still, I think the general thumb rule is 1% for emails. I think it's 3-4% for the website, and so on. It really
So
depends.
it's like from 100 people, only one will like actively use the.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So sales funnel आप लोगों ने सुना होगा, and sales and marketing are two different things. I think some people use the term sales and promotions while we were talking about marketing. Anybody would like to kind of share what the difference between sales and marketing is?
Can you please repeat?
What is the difference between sales and marketing?
Sales is basically number of counts your product has been sold, कितना
Sales
आपने
is
generate करा है.
like it's a byproduct of marketing.
Okay. Well, it's not the byproduct. It is the product of marketing. It has to be the product of marketing.
Sales is basically something like for example हमने marketing करी but
Hmm.
उससे हमें इन वापस हमारी कंपनी में इनपुट क्या आता है बाहर से आउटसाइड से
Hmm.
so
So
that is sales.
sales is the output of marketing, I guess, because sales is something kind of we are making aware to our product to peoples, and thereafter, I mean, marketing is that, and after that, the how much we are earning from that product is kind of sales.
Hmm. आई थिंक जब आप वही अपना बिजनेस मॉडल कैनवस पढ़ेंगे या कोर कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, आई रिकमेंड अ फ्यू बुक्स फॉर यू, ऑल ऑफ यू टू जस्ट रीड जस्ट द कोर बिजनेस कॉन्सेप्ट्स. उसमें क्लियरली यू विल गेट टू नो एंड सी मार्केटिंग के दो पर्पस होते हैं. One is to spread awareness and build a brand. People getting to know about your brand, getting to know about your sort of product and service. For example, I don't know if you're in NCR or not, if you've seen a big banner of an Apple ad in Gurgaon. I live in Gurgaon, so I can give that example. Uh, I don't know if they even track the transition, the number of eyeballs, for example, crossing that flyover is how they sort of charge. Let's say 10 million eyeballs in a week is what they're targeting. But that could be because they want to create brand awareness. They want to make sure that their new product is launched and just keep up with the with the brand value that they've created. Second is, of course, to generate leads. Now, leads is the product of marketing, digital marketing, um, essentially call to action on any platform. The call to action is a concept that everybody should know. If you are thinking about launching your online business, any video, any website, any app has a button, either buy or come to our website, or आपने अगर Instagram पे ads ली होंगी तो they ask you, what do you want this particular post to do for you? Do you want people to reach out to you like in person? Do they send you a personal message, or do you want people to visit your website so that they can register to your services? Do you want people to download your app? Do you want to what is the call to action that you want that campaign to make for you? That call to action is the outcome of a marketing campaign. Now that then becomes a raw material for the sales team to then take a person from a sales journey, which is again greeting, understanding the user needs, then giving them a demo, giving them sort of test drives. And I'm just giving an example of Audi. Then negotiating and then closing the sale. So that's another process in itself. Sales teams and marketing teams are generally separate. They do work very closely, but marketing is more about, again, creating a brand value, creating an awareness. Could be multiple reasons or multiple sort of call to actions for them. But sales का एक ही target होता है, to convert a lead into a business, making money. So they are probably sister functions, linked very, very closely to how each of them are performing. Is that clear enough? I think, again, very basic, very fundamental core concept of business in general. But ये समझ में होना जरूरी है. As a co-founder, you need to know these core concepts so that when you're delegating or when you are like finding people who are helping you with these things, you're able to know what they're up to. You're able to potentially uh, get the most of it from any contract or project that you give them. Priyanshu.
Sir, I've dropped the question in chat. If you could see,
मैं chat
please.
नहीं पढ़ पा रहा हूँ. If you can just say it for me, please.
Actually, I'm in metro, so clear नहीं आएगी
अच्छा
आवाज.
अच्छा. Anybody can read that question from the chat, please?
Yeah,
Samdo, can
I'll
you read, please?
I'll read it. No problem. So the
Hmm.
question is, as we know these days, Zomato, Zepto, Swiggy or are booming the market game with their Gen Z marketing. So do you
Mm-hmm.
think that in near future this would get faded? Because from one perspective, these are kind of sarcastic memes, and the meme type gets faded by time. Also, all these brands are doing the same thing. Even a Pakistani cookie brand crumbled too. So do you think this would to create a mess on the social media or audience that they'll get bored and यार ये सब क्या हो रहा है nothing.
Mm-hmm. नहीं, it's a good question and it's a very important and relevant question. आपकी marketing strategy हर साल change होती है. हर साल आपका नया, usually अगर आप देखें, if you're seeing and observing businesses closely, you'll see whatever is in trend, they are riding that wave. If Neeraj Chopra is throwing whatever, all the brands are after him to sell Parle Ji or whatever. Like Amul ने उसको ad में लिया and whatnot. So marketing is all about whatever is trending technically. Number of eyeballs, the more number of eyeballs you can get to your product, the more money you will make. And right now, अगर वो चल रहा है, yeah, I'll not be surprised if it changes in next 6 months, and it's gonna be fine. So it's all the more important for you to know what is the problem that you're trying to solve and how are you technically leveraging what all there is in the market for you to send a message, which is the content and the context of your product. Uh, I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, it's absolutely correct that your marketing changes every year. If you look at brands closely, they will endorse one person today, and they'll probably be endorsing somebody else tomorrow. There'll be a different kind of trend today. There'll be a different kind of trend tomorrow. Okay, let's keep moving because we've got a lot of content to cover. Even though I did not want to cover a lot of content. Again, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this diagram. I'm gonna share this presentation with you. But these are the number of apps that are there for you to manage your digital marketing. If you're doing SEO, there are different sites and different services that you can use to manage that. If there are live chats that you want to use for your marketing, there are different tools for that. There are call tracking tools. There are campaign management tools. There are n number of things that you can do with a number of ways. So the question then really boils down to who are you serving? What are they doing and where are they doing that? And then how can you, again, not boil the ocean and do it the most effective way? Okay, again, we'll not go through any of this. If there are any questions on this, probably I can take them a little bit later. I'll quickly move on to the next one, which is this interesting graph that I came across while I was preparing for this presentation. We talked about return on investment in the previous two slides. Now, if you look at the industry trend, and I think this is smartinsights.com, I've shared the link of their marketing trends as well. They did a survey for small to medium size enterprises, and they came to this result. And this one chart was particularly very interesting. If you see the search engine optimizations, ROI is the maximum, which is 38% medium and then 39% highest ROI. Like cost per lead is way less for a search engine optimization, which is primarily Google right now, but there are more platforms coming in. Content marketing again follows very closely. And then if you look at website personalization, it is still decent, but it's not as crazy. Like some people might feel that I need to have the world's best website, which is good. But again, the ROI on that might not be as lucrative as probably your SEO. If you pay a little bit more to Google rather than spending that money on building a world-class website, which might or might not get you the same amount of leads or eyeballs on your campaigns. Um, what else? Display. The last was display advertising, including programmatic. So display ads, basically banners जो चलते हैं, they are the least productive. So very interesting trend analysis. I would recommend all of you to just go through it once whenever you get a chance. Any questions on this website, on this link, or अभी तक जो हमने cover किया उस पे? Anything so far?
No, sir.
Let me pause this for a second and come to the. क्या आप सभी लोग मेरे साथ हैं? 5-6 तो छोड़ के चले भी गए हैं. I think 21 लोग
Yes,
हैं
sir.
हम. Can I see thumbs
Sir.
up from everyone? Please. I'm craving for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Okay, fair enough. I'll share the screen again. And yet again. Let's see my. Okay. Now let's come to the actual sort of core of. Now we'll start building something together. यूजर जर्नी पे हम आएंगे, मगर उससे पहले हम समझते हैं यूजर्स. आप लोगों ने सभी ने अपने यूजर्स के पर्सोना बनाए हुए हैं? Have you created a persona for the kind of customer that you have? Could be one person or a category of people, but do you know the answers to these questions? I would request you now all to either type it on the chat or write it down on a piece of paper right now in front of you, and then unmute and probably share it with the rest of the group. Maybe we'll take a few people who've not spoken so far. But what is the age group of this person that you're trying to solve a problem for? अगर आप उसको एक लाइन में आप बता भी सकें what is the problem that you're trying to solve, that'll be really, really helpful. And this all is going to be helpful for you to create your presentations as well, create your social media strategies. And we'll, I think, probably have a discussion session later on. But this strategy is going to help you, again, filter out what not to do. That's way more important than what to do. उसको समझने के लिए, let's understand the user. Is it clear? Is the question clear? Is the challenge clear? Yes,
Yes,
no,
sir.
maybe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have a piece of paper, I better hope you all have, or in the chat box, can you start writing what is the age of your customer? What is the approximately income of your customer? What is the occupation? Again, you can do guesstimates. It doesn't need to be a total estimate or total guess, but a mixture of both. What could be a gender, lifestyle, religion, geography? The more questions you have answered, the better user persona we'll have. The better user persona we'll have, the better marketing plan we'll have. And even before that, the better product we'll have. क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम हमें तभी समझ में आएगी कि यूजर का एक्चुअल persona क्या है, what are the challenges that they're trying to solve. I'll give you all 5 minutes probably. Feel free to ask any questions in between if you have any. And just quickly asking, is it all making sense or it's all nonsense? Is it all making sense or it's nonsense? Yuvraj, thumbs up for nonsense or thumbs up for sense?
Sense.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just kidding, trying to keep it light. Age. Saksham, 18 साल की women are making appointments to go for salon, to go to salon.
So basically, 18 means the college students we are talking about, and mostly
Are they
working.
making? I don't know
Yes,
their
sir.
answer. I'm just asking. Are they making Are they actually going for a fixed appointment for salons?
Yes, sir. We took a feedback also from first of all जो college students से mostly जाके from DU universities and IGDTU वगैरह, and yes, they are like happy कि अगर ऐसा एक salon होता है, क्योंकि उनके पास एक budget constraint होता है कि हम 500 या 600 या 400 के beyond नहीं जा सकते हैं, and it's very difficult to find a salon in their nearby locality कि वो उतनी ही service में और good मतलब good services provide करें. So yes, because of them also we just added up this age group.
And women above 44 don't?
अब सर लाइक वर्किंग वुमेन का स्पेसिफिकली मैं बात करूं तो हाँ वो थोड़ा हो सकता है, लाइक जिनसे मेरी बात हुई है तो मोस्टली वो 25 to 35 एज की हैं, तो जो अभी राइट नाउ आईटी कंपनीज वगैरह या कोई एचआर है या किसी भी कंपनी में वर्क कर रही हैं, तो उनके लिए इट्स लाइक बेसिक तुरंत कोई मीट होती है कुछ भी होता है तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि तुरंत अपॉइंटमेंट मिल जाए, और फिर वही कि नियर बाय, क्योंकि राइट नाउ अभी जो ये सर्विस प्रोवाइड होती है वो यही होता है कि आप जस्ट डायल से नंबर ले लो या आप गूगल पे सर्च कर लो, और अगर आप गूगल पे सर्च करते हो तो उनकी रेटिंग्स वो नहीं होते, प्राइजेस नहीं होते सर्विसेज के, एंड देयर लॉट ऑफ सर्विसेज ऑल्सो। और जस्ट डायल से प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है कि आपको हर एक सैलून पे कॉल करना पड़ता है और पूछना पड़ता है आर यू अवेलेबल, बंद तो नहीं है, वो तो नहीं है। सो आर ऐप इज लाइक बेसिकली जोमेटो फॉर डाइनिंग, आप कह सकते हो।
ओके, फेयर इनफ। सैलरी का भी लिखिएगा, उनका दिनचर्या क्या है, लाइफस्टाइल क्या है, जस्ट आई मीन अगेन फॉर नाउ वी कैन ऑल guesstimate, not again, not completely guess, not 100% estimation, but guesstimate the kind of lifestyle, the kind of work, the kind of phone, the kind of uh, consumption of content that they might be doing, है ना?
ओके
Okay. Mm-hmm. Few more minutes for everyone, please. I hope everybody is doing this as we speak. 19 लोग रह गए हैं, 4-5 लोग हमें छोड़ के चले गए हैं. कस्टमर जर्नी में भी यही होता है ना, अर्ली अडॉप्टर्स होते हैं, आते हैं, फिर वो चले जाते हैं. Nobody turned on their camera except one person. वो भी बीच में थोड़ी देर के लिए. Are you all with me? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
4 लोग, 5 लोग. What about the rest?
Yes, sir.
Good, 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 good. Okay. Let's quickly come back to the presentation. Like I said, we will now look at. हमने यूजर्स को समझ लिया. नाउ आई थिंक यूजर की जर्नी दो तरीके से हो सकती है. वन इज देयर ओन लाइफ की जर्नी, लाइक what particular. So I think Yuvraj, was it you who was explaining about this salon app appointment?
No, sir, it was me, Saksham. Yuvraj is my team member.
Saksham. Okay. So I think in that case, what would this person be doing on a daily basis? When would she be thinking about booking an appointment? Is it going to be a Saturday evening? It's going to be a Thursday evening? Is it going to be a Tuesday evening? In general, what is their life journey like?
Sir,
If
mostly Friday evening.
again, you're assuming that. I think what will be interesting to do is to write these questions down. Meaning,
Okay, sir.
uh, during a week, what is their general sort of curriculum like, or their schedule like? Maybe Friday evenings are super busy. They're not even having a single day because the Friday evening is when they are wrapping up their work. They are planning for a weekend. They have their kids to take care of. You don't know. Probably it's the worst time to maybe create a campaign or show them an ad. Probably the best time is Wednesday, when Monday and Tuesday they've taken care of major things. It's Wednesday now. They have like during the day. So the best time for marketing or sending an email, from my knowledge and from the research that I've done so far, is a Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday 11 a.m. is the best time when people will get a few minutes to look at any email that they have received, which is not related to their work. So things of that sort is going to come in play when you are thinking about a journey of a user. So that's from the outside perspective, understanding the user deeply, understanding what are they doing on a daily basis, where are they sort of consuming their content? Are they in front of a television more? Are they in front of a computer more? Are they in front of their phones more? What kind of apps do they have in their phones? So when you're doing the focus group discussions for your potential customers, you have to start asking these questions so that you have an informed enough data to make an informed decision for your social media marketing plan or digital marketing plan. Fair enough?
Yes, sir,
Does that make
definitely.
sense?
Yes.
So again, spend some time for the next. This is an input for the next time when you are building your strategies and presenting it in this bigger group. Really understand what are they up to. Don't assume it. Really, do a focus group discussion with 15, 20, 30, 100 people, as much as you can. These questions might sound silly, but they will add a lot of value in the long run. Okay, and save a lot of time as well. So that's from the user's end. Now, if you look at from the marketing end, what a user journey looks like. Essentially, a user journey from a marketing perspective or brand engagement perspective looks like this. So somebody walking on the street discovers your brand, or maybe looking at a phone app discovers your app or a service or whatever that is. Then they consider it. then they probably purchase it, and then they are retained. They are, they are brought back again to use the service. If we take an example of urban company, I came across this on a billboard on either a LinkedIn post or whatever, wherever I was doing something. I understood the concept. Okay, I started thinking about it. I started considering it. It took me like a year and a half to, for the first time, to just try it out. I had to book an appointment for cleaning my house, for that matter. So I invited somebody, I used it. They retained me by offering me a subscription, which showed me that I'll save so and so money for the next appointment. I thought, yeah, might as well. So I paid them some money for a subscription. Then I called again for the service, then again for the service. So that's how they're retaining it. And advocacy means a customer is so loyal that they start selling on the behalf of the brand. आप लोगों ने कभी देखा होगा, people who are Apple fans, they'll try to sell Apple to Android users as well. सुना है?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Right? So
Yeah,
I
right.
think so. What Apple has done is that they have created advocates for themselves, and that is the best kind of marketing, isn't it? You create such a strong brand, such a strong customer service that people are just, just uh, fan of your services, and they're selling everything, like everybody, your services. That goes without saying. I think if we can achieve that, then nothing like it. So again, at a high level, these are the sort of journey step. At a complex level, again, I'll send you this presentation. You don't have to look at everything in here. But demand and generation, which is the core, and the outreach is the major chunk, heavy load of marketing. uh, More number of people you reach out to, the target audience essentially, the more people you are influencing to act on something. The more people you're influencing on acting, the more people you're influencing on converting, like maybe repetitive customers. And the more repetitive customers, the better services you have, the more loyal customers you have, and then you create this loop. And that's how Apple has sustained. That's how bigger brands, you name the brand, and they have done this whole journey of reaching to a million people, and then selling it to, let's say, 100,000, and converting them into 50,000 strong customers, and then repeating 25k of them. I'm just again giving this as a ballpark rough number. Don't take my word on it. You can probably research on a different product and a different organization. um, but essentially, if you see, a lot of paid work happens uh, early on, because you're still creating a brand. You're still sort of trying to print pamphlets, uh, digital pamphlets or physical pamphlets, or taking a space on a website, on an Amazon site or whatever. The real estate, physical or digital, costs the most. And people who own the real estate, physical or digital, they make the most money, because everything is about real estate. Meaning, if on a page you have potential of showing 10 ads, and you take the biggest space on that page, then, well, people are going to see your ad. So I think this has been traditionally true as well, and this is going to stay true for the next foreseeable future. Um, then once you are sort of engaging your customers from reach to act, then your owned media, which is your own website, your own app, your own experience, probably comes into picture. You will start sending people to your website, or you're using your app or using your service. Then comes your experience, meaning um, people who are using your app, they are happy with the app, they are happy with the service, and that then gives them more chances or more opportunities to stay back. And beach may, of course, you keep doing these promotional activities, wherein you don't lose interest and so on. So you keep adding those paid promotions in between. But in general, if you see this trend, most heavy lifting of paid media comes in early, then owned media comes in second, It keeps going as we move forward. And then earned media is basically once you've converted a potential customer into your loyal customer, you've earned that. You have converted that person, um, or by experience. So I think that's how it works. Any questions on this slide particularly? Again, I'll share this with you. It's a good um, sort of framework to keep in mind. You don't have to know everything, but just a flow is important. कि किस स्टेज पे है कस्टमर और कहाँ पे किस स्टेज में आपका प्रोडक्ट है essentially. Any questions on this?
It's clear.
Okay. Is it all making sense or it's nonsense?
Making sense.
Sir, it's making sense.
तो इतने लोग छोड़ के क्यों जा रहे हैं? लेट हो गया?
Low conversion rate.
Low conversion rate. Yes. कोई बात नहीं, 25 से 18 is not bad for an hour 40 minutes. Okay. Now this model everybody has to remember again just a framework of mind and just a few concepts that you should know. You don't probably will you will not use it to the T or as a theory, but these are very important concepts. So just to kind of have it at the back of your mind. The poem is like paid media, owned media, earned media. Paid, owned, and earned media. Paid media is anything that you pay for. It's not, again, any platform, real estate, search engine optimization, offline ads, anything that you pay anybody else for is called paid media. Any campaigns that you do on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or any website or Google or whatever is paid media. Okay. Owned media, because every line will have its own budget and line item, and you have to decide कि कब कहाँ पे कितना लगेगा. It's important for you to know this. Owned media is essentially your website, your own sort of collateral. आपकी website, आपका खुद का content, if there are any blogs, if there are any social media pages, if there's any app that you have, if there's any sort of discussion forum that you have, anything that you own is the owned media. And उसका भी एक significance होता है in the digital marketing strategy. And then third is your earned media, which is again word of mouth, viral marketing, again creating and incubating your concept in one of the hot topics of um, the the town. Press releases, if your product is so wonderful that somebody has published something for you. Any brand awareness, if somebody is wearing your brand, and that person is in itself a brand, that is your earned media. Again, you don't pay for it, but you get the benefits of having a good product used by somebody or an industry or a person. Okay. I will pause here for a second so that let's take the temperature of the room. Okay. How can we एक सवाल है यहाँ पे मैं बोल लेता हूँ. How can we make our marketing strategy for businesses and government bodies as we don't have a single user? B2B is also I think it's the same concept applies here. B2B may you will have to understand the business. The user persona that we created, you create a similar persona of the business, the kind of businesses that will need your service. For example, if you're making a paper, if you have a paper company, what kind of businesses will buy your product? What will be the minimum sort of revenue of that business? How old is that business? पेपर का यूज कितना है उस बिजनेस में? What are the problem that they are trying to solve? How are you trying to address those challenges and those sort of problems for that business? For example, if you have a paper business, you're establishing like a brick and mortar paper business, you will not be going to परचून की दुकान, or like a retail business, retail outlet, because paper का इस्तेमाल कम है वहाँ पे. You might, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's
Okay.
audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you might be going to a small business which is manufacturing something, or a small business which is printing, books, a small business which is using that paper, right? So the concept, the core remains the same. When you are doing a persona, you do a persona for the business or the government entity or whatever it is that you're trying to help, whoever it is that you're trying to help. The questions might change slightly, but the persona, essentially, the process of creating a persona remains the same. Does that make sense, Vishal?
Yes, sir.
So again, if it is a SaaS product, then you go to organizations which are using SaaS. You will not go to SME probably. You will be probably going to medium and big enterprises. What kind of SaaS is it? Is it finance? Is it their sales? Is it their HR? What is the problem that you're trying to solve? And in the business, who is the stakeholder who's going to be using your sort of service? In a business, there are multiple stakeholders, right? There is an HR, there's a CFO, there's a CTO, there's a CEO, there's a employee. There are different functions and people. Whose problem are you solving? Who's going to be that entry level point? So, for example, I was working with a pharmaceutical company in US, and we had a radioactive diagnostic drug. I mean, I was working with a company who had a radioactive diagnostic drug, and we were not selling uh, to the hospital. We were selling to the sonographers. Those are the decision makers who used our products, and once they were convinced, they convinced the hospital admin that no, we need this drug. It's going to help us save X number of whatever is it that we solved for them. So who is that person in that organization who's going to be your buyer, who's going to be the decision maker? That is how, and what you will come to once you start creating that persona as well. But a good question.
So, sir, here we are just directly dealing with authorities, right? We are not going to the single user, as you told about that drug. So you are just targeting that specific person, and he's just dealing with other people as a consumer, like who
Yeah.
want to use it. So in the
Yeah.
same way, if our product is something kind of a platform that is for an authority, or that is something kind of hardware equipment, so how can we make the marketing strategies so that like we can turn them into our consumer?
So two levels of people that I was just telling you. For example, in your case, who's the person who's procuring the product? If you have, like, let's say hardware SaaS, who is the admin in that entity? Now you will have to know the person who's making the purchase and what problem you're solving for that person. And you will also have to know in that setup, in that business setup, what kind of setup this person has. For example, if I want to sell, I am building a new accessory brand for Audi, and I want to be in the shelf of Audi's showrooms across India. Who will I approach? First of all, I need to understand how is an Audi showroom placed. Who's the decision maker? Is Audi AG involved? AG is Germany. Is Audi India involved? Are the dealer networks involved? In the dealer networks, who is responsible for accessories? How much margin do they have on current accessories? Is the decision maker the director of the company, or the decision maker the accessory manager, accessory head of the organization? Once I have understood the organizational structure or the persona of the entity, I will then start figuring out who are the key resources. It could be one, two, three people. And then what are they doing on the daily basis, in the work? How can I pitch them? Is the best way to pitch them just by going to them? Probably in this case it is. But if it is a product or service, what kind of websites are they using right now? Are they using Oracle? Are they using other ERPs? And how do I push my product, or how do I market myself in that particular area or domain? That is the kind of level of detail that you will have to get to make a decision कि कहाँ से जाना है उनके पास. बट उसके लिए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी समझना जरूरी है, उसके लेवल्स भी समझना जरूरी है. दैट पर्सन or more people who are responsible to make the decision, that is also very important. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Coming back to the presentation, as we are seeing people moving out, I will not go through this, but just for you all to go through whenever you can. This is the technology landscape for digital marketing. What all different tools you can use at what levels. When you're doing this at scale, abhi ke liye, you might not use all of this because you're still too young and probably building out your startup. But it's good to know and it's good to have. Keep it at the back of your mind as a research sort of paper. आ जाते हैं, चलिए अब हम अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी बनाने में. तो we'll do a quick sort of run, and this is the starting of the next sort of जब आप अपना framework बना रहे होंगे, अपनी strategy बना रहे होंगे, just wanted to kind of share what framework we will be using to create a digital marketing strategy. Okay, this is very basic. Key components जैसा कि हमने बात की थी, target audience, channel selection, content development, and performance matrix. Meaning, who are we doing it for? How are we reaching them? What are we telling them? How are we telling them? And how are we measuring? And if you see this picture around, what is this person doing at 9 a.m.? What is this person doing at 1 p.m.? What is this person doing at 4 p.m.? राइट ये जो वो जो मदर्स वाला एग्जांपल था, उस केस में आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि वेयर इन व्हाट स्पेस एम आई ट्राइंग टू एंगेज दिस पर्सन. Is it making sense for me to send a message at 10 p.m. in the night if I'm selling a product, let's say XYZ? Maybe I'm selling a cup of coffee, let's say. I'm selling it at 10 p.m. It might not be as much of value. But if I'm selling a face pack or a sleeping pill or something of that sort, that might work at 10 p.m. So it depends on what is your product, what is the problem you're solving, who's the audience. Again, I'm at the risk of repeating myself over and over again, but these are the core fundamentals of when you're sort of creating a decision कि कब reach out करना है, किसको reach out करना है, कैसे reach out करना है. These decisions are going to be critical for any campaign that you create. Make sense? Shall we move forward?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, these are the 6 steps. You can note them down. I'll be sharing this presentation with you all. These are the 6 steps that you will start creating. We can do a small, very quick sort of process of doing this right now. Let's create again a user persona जैसा आपने अभी create किया. Step 0 we've already done. What are your marketing goals? Like I said, do you just want to create a brand or awareness that people should just start talking about you, just start you know knowing that we are. You might have seen ads coming soon. Stay tuned. You might have seen those ads, right? They are not generating leads at that time. They're just creating a buzz. They're creating an awareness, right? So that is not the marketing goal for that campaign. But there are ads which are specific to call to action, like come down to our store or download this app for more information or whatever that is on any platform. So defining what your marketing goals are, both in terms of what do you want to achieve quantitatively, qualitatively, and what's the budget involved. Meaning how many people do you want to reach and how much money do you want to spend. That will also help you choose or how much money do you have to spend, like you have available to spend. Then step 2 is to analyze your competitor. Understanding, I know in today's world there is a competitor for anything and everything. Like Urban Company could be a good competitor for the scheduling salon appointment apps. Now, what are they doing? How are they charging? How are they making money? Who are they targeting? How are they going out to get these customers? उनकी ads कहाँ कहाँ दिख रही हैं आपको? उनका क्या campaign है? ये they need a lot of research, of course. Then step 3 is which campaign will work best for you? Because if you have the answer to the first 3, You will know what this person is doing at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. Is this person using Instagram for how many hours in a week? What is the most sort of appropriate time for you to have that time slot? And people fight for the adverts, the names, the time slots as well, because everybody is, again, at the end of the day, asking for eyeballs. Choose which digital marketing channel to focus on is then going to be your step 3. Step 4 is creating the content. This will then again link to the first few slides that we saw. What kind of content? How are you showing the problem? How are you showing? What is the tonality of your ad? Ethos, prothos, and logos is athos, pathos, and logos. What kind of engagement do you want? For example, if you're selling a funeral service and you're selling it on a birthday, well, I mean, what are the chances of you converting that? Not too much. How do you find the perfect placement of the concept? How do you introduce a concept? What emotion, what sort of area of somebody's psychology you want to target using that content is step 4. And then 5, matrix. How do you measure? हमने सब कुछ कर लिया, campaign भी कर लिया. If you don't have anything to measure it, it's all waste. Meaning, if you are doing a campaign for increasing your website traffic, then is it actually improving? And if yes, then by how much? What is the cost of improvement? Let's say, for example, your website had 100 views a day, and then you ran a campaign, and those views were 1,000 views per day over the next week or so. What was the cost of that campaign? What did that do? What was the conversion ratio and everything? So you identify what are the different matrices that you will have to check for you to be able to uh, measure the success of your digital marketing strategy. These are, again, I'll share this presentation with you. I would love for you all to start working on it. A few things that you have to keep in mind. Again, I'll just target marketing, target audience understanding. We've covered this. We've covered this. We've covered this. We've covered this. 3 things to remember when you're building this, and then we'll open this up and ask questions and probably do a small mini version of a campaign very quickly. Is there are use try to use free tools which are out there. HubSpot is free, freemium. Some features are available for free. Google Analytics is for tracking your websites and so on. You can just install that for free on your website, and so on. So I think there are multiple different in the stack that I showed you, जो एक diagram दिखाया था, उसमें बहुत सारे tools मिल जाएंगे जो कुछ freemium भी हैं और free भी हैं. Start using those. Try to use those. Identify what successful companies have already done. One example is group Dropbox. आप लोग Dropbox यूज करते हैं? सुना है Dropbox के बारे में?
यस सर, यूज करते हैं.
हाँ,
Yes.
तो
Yes, sir.
Dropbox में जब ये अपना रेफरल प्रोग्राम चलाया था, it's all digital. They grew by 3,900%. It was crazy. I mean, you could just refer people and get 500. मतलब I have sort of gained 20 GB by just referring this to people, because I could get 100, half a GB every person who installed Dropbox. And then marketing plan has to be reviewed. जैसे अभी बीच में कोई सवाल भी पूछ रहा था, that it has to be reviewed time and again. It is not static. It can never be static because the world out there is changing too fast. The users are changing and their behaviors are changing. You have to adapt very quickly and probably keep doing a quarterly review of how's your digital marketing doing, or marketing doing in general, and how do you adapt to the changing sort of markets and trends out there. And if you're missing out on any, like if you're sitting in December and you're capturing last year's Neeraj Chopra's throw, well, you've missed the boat. What's now hot and happening so that you can capitalize that is something that you have to work on. I think I'll pause here. I think I've ended the presentation. Sorry to skim through the last few slides. Uh, but I will take a few questions and then probably share this with you to create your own sort of plan and come back with your presentations. And again, I think Janvi and Akhilesh will have to figure a way out to make sure people are coming in and staying, and then making this a little more productive and more engaging. Let's talk and think about that moving forward as well. Questions? And I'm met with silence.
Okay, sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically जैसे for us to target the user audience is very simple. हम digitally Instagram पे रील बना सकते हैं या हम
Hmm.
डिजिटल मार्केटिंग से उनको अट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं. बट
Hmm.
फॉर सैलॉन कि हम सैलॉन को कैसे अट्रैक्ट करेंगे वो थोड़ा इट्स क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट राइट नाउ. लाइक हमने अभी रिसेंटली अपने इंस्टाग्राम हैंडल पे एक रील डाली थी जो हमारा फर्स्ट एज इंट्रो था कि हम कौन है और हम क्या क्या करने जा रहे हैं. तो उसमें क्वाइट इंप्रेसिव व्यूज आ गए थे. विद इन एन आवर हम 2000 प्लस इंप्रेशन पे पहुंच चुके थे. बट
Hmm.
इट्स वेरी इजी टू अट्रैक्ट लाइक यूजर. बट जो सैलॉन जो हमारा लाइक पार्टनर है उनको अट्रैक्ट करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है. सो
ग्रेट
व्हाट कैन वी
क्वेश्चन. ग्रेट क्वेश्चन. यहाँ पे आई थिंक जो अभी हमने कॉन्सेप्ट पे बात किया वही अप्लाई हो रहा है. देर आर टू कस्टमर्स for you. You're building a marketplace. In marketplace, there are two customers. There's one end of the marketplace, which is your salons. There are other end of the marketplace, which are the like women of 18 to 44 or
Yes, sir.
whatever. You address the women from 18 to 44. You've not addressed the B2B customer.
Yes, sir.
So for that, you will have to, and if you see any company like Urban Company or any entity which works like this, they have to have a different marketing campaign for B2B customers, for the other end of the sort of marketplace. So for that, you will have to understand कि उनका मतलब salons का क्या pain point है. What are you trying to solve for them? And that mostly happens, B2B mostly happens uh, while going to them in person, while meeting them, while understanding their setup. Um, are they tech savvy or not? How will they manage their calendar? Do they even have a calendar or not? Do they? How many walk-ins do they take? What is their timeline? So again, the user persona for them is going to be a separate exercise for you.
Okay,
We
so
do
basic.
we do this just quickly. We do this in a lot of consulting assignments, wherein we go in and we actually map out everything that us like a business or a whatever setup is doing, and in their journey, how are we coming in? How are we trying to solve them? For example, if I'm trying to increase business of a perchun ki dukan, a local sort of reseller, they don't even have a red book. They don't have a accounting software. They don't have anything. And to expect them to start using your system is, I think, it's the bad choice for pitching it to them. So, sorry, you were saying something. So, I think you have to go and see on ground what's happening and what is the problem that you are solving for them. What's their leanest time? How do they manage their calendar? How do they get these appointments? क्योंकि local vendors के साथ क्या होता है? They have local clients, and local clients they just pick up the phone and call. Can I आज शाम को आ जाऊँ, कल आ जाऊँ, whatever, and that's how they operate. So how are you solving for that? Is going to be your sort of next question.
या एक्चुअली सर
Sorry.
हाँ.
Yeah.
यस सर. सो एक्चुअली हम जब किसी सैलून पे गए थे ना फर्स्टली,
Hmm.
तो हमने
Hmm.
उनको जब पिच करा था तो बेसिकली उन्होंने ये बोला था कि हाँ फॉर मी इट्स अ वेरी गुड चॉइस कि ये ऐप आएगा क्योंकि इससे मुझे को नए यूजर्स मिलेंगे. जो न्यू
Hmm.
लोकेलिटी में अगर कोई शिफ्ट हो रहा है या जो हो रहा है तो हमारे ऐप के थ्रू उसको पता चलेगा ये XYZ सैलून यहाँ एग्जिस्ट करता है, इतनी रेटिंग है. तो हमारे लिए तो प्लस पॉइंट है. कस्टमर रिटेंशन फॉर मी, हाँ वो थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है कि अगर वो एक बार चले गया या उसी लोकल का है तो वो उसको कॉल करके बोलेगा कि नेक्स्ट टाइम, क्योंकि सैलून को भी बट ऑब्वियस है कि सर्टेन अमाउंट या सर्टेन परसेंटेज हमें पे करना पड़ेगा. बट हाँ हमारा जो पार्टनर ऐप है वो लाइव है अभी प्ले स्टोर पे. सो बेसिकली उसके थ्रू जैसे अभी आपने बोला कि परचून की दुकान पे लोग लिखते हैं मोस्टली, और हमारे हमारे ऐप में भी लाइक पूरा कैलेंडर वाइज मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम है कि कब कौन सी बुकिंग हुई थी, वो आया था कि नहीं आया था, उसने क्या काम करवाया था, कितना आपने अर्न करा, कितना आपने हमको दिया, व्हाट विल बी द फ्यूचर बुकिंग्स ऑल्सो, कि अगले 1 महीने में आपकी कितनी बुकिंग्स और होने वाली हैं। सो इस सिस्टमेटिक वे में है वो पूरा। बट दिक्कत यही है कि अभी सैलॉन में पहुंचने में और रीच करने में हमें थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो रही है।
एक जनरल thumb rule है and a concept that we talk a lot on is the biggest this is something that you all should avoid if you want to be successful. The biggest challenge on the planet is behavior change. तभी लिए आप देखेंगे सारे ब्रांड्स दे ट्राई टू अडेप्ट टू द यूजर। दिवाली है तो दिवाली का वो करेंगे, क्रिसमस है तो क्रिसमस का वो करेंगे। मतलब it's very hard to change the behavior of a user or anybody for that matter. If you if you start walking on that path wherein you are trying to change a behavior pattern of salon owners or local jewelers or whatever it is that you're trying to do, you are falling in a trap. What can you do to be able to be a part of their existing lifestyle? That should be another way to look at this as well, कि उनका दिनचर्या में कुछ changes ना हो। We might come in and we might adapt to them rather than them adapting to us, and they're still ending up using our apps. The other way to do this is to maybe identify what different apps do they use, these salon owners. How many staff do they have? What's the average sort of ticket size that they manage? Uh, what is their most used app, and how can you integrate with that, if at all? सो अगेन स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अगेन, वो तो फिर बिजनेस का सवाल हो जाएगा रादर देन मार्केटिंग का, कि हाउ डू यू मेक योर प्रोडक्ट सो यूजर फ्रेंडली दैट दे कांट लिव विदाउट इट।
ओके, गॉट इट सर, थैंक यू सर।
एनीबडी एल्स? ओके, तो आप लोगों का अगला असाइनमेंट याद मतलब पता है आपको क्या करना है? I'll be sharing this presentation with you, and the next time whenever we talk, we should be looking at your sample social media marketing plans. Can we do that?
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
Okay.
So, sir, we can do one thing. We'll assign them the tasks and they'll submit it. And in next session, we'll definitely discuss the things with you.
Sure. Okay, I will let you all leave. Probably Janvi and Akhilesh can stay back, and we'll or they've left. They've
No,
left.
sir, we are here. We are
Okay.
here. Yeah.
ठीक है. Yes, Vishal.
I have a question like, what steps should we consider while making the user persona for B2B? I mean,
I'm sorry.
am
Can
I
you
audible?
repeat that?
I'm
Yes, you
saying
are.
that's what steps should we consider while making the user persona for B2B? Or
B2B.
yeah,
First of all, I think identifying what the
so let me
organization is.
let me give you an example. Like
Yes,
Tesla
yes.
is making their humanoid robot that is Optimus. Okay, so if they are trying to provide that Optimus to a company, manufacturing company that requires helpers. Okay,
Yeah.
and there are more industries such like that. So how they are making this marketing strategy so that they can uh, gather those customers. I mean,
Sure,
gather the business.
sure. सी विशाल, आई थिंक एक चीज हमें ये समझनी चाहिए जो बहुत जरूरी है, एंड दैट इज द रूट एंड द कोर ऑफ एनीथिंग दैट वी डू। मार्केटिंग इज जस्ट अ टूल। द किंग ऑफ द गेम इज योर प्रोडक्ट, and by the virtue of that, the problem that you're trying to solve. If you can identify, अगर ये मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनीज में ह्यूमनाइड्स सेल कर रहे हैं, what is the problem that they're trying to solve for in the manufacturing company, manufacturing industry? Is it the life expectancy, error prone, uh, time efficiency, strength efficiency, replacement of a manpower, could be n number of things. आप जब list down करेंगे manufacturing industry को जब research शुरू करेंगे कि what's the per hour cost of a employee working with machines versus replacing that employee with a robot. So how many people are there? How many such sort of resources can be replaced by uh, this robot? So once you start noting that down, understanding what the industry is, understanding what the problem that industry is facing, and understanding how is your solution solving that problem, once you know these three things, your 80% work is done. Now the question then comes, okay, I know that this is the industry, this is what the challenges are, and this is what my solution is. Now, who do I speak with in that industry? That means what is the organization structure of a company? Who's the decision maker of that company? Who manages the production line? Is it the product head? Is it the production head? Is it the CEO? Is it the salesperson? So you then start creating sub personas of people who are decision makers for you to get to talk to the right person. So I think that is what will start coming up once you start understanding the industry, the problem, and your solution, and then pick a company, understand what the company structure is, who's responsible for making that decision in that at that company level. Is it the CEO? Is it the director? Is the owner? Is the board members? Who is it that is going to buy that product? Generally, B2B may you need a lot of in-person, right meetings rather than doing digital marketing. At
Yeah, sir, that's
B
what I was
B
thinking that
huh,
that here what we are doing that we are just going one to one person. Okay, not we are
yes,
trying to like making the digital marketing, because
yeah,
here if our user is a single user, then we can do these things. But
yeah,
our user is not a single user. He's a such kind of
exactly.
organization or like authorities who are just using that product. So
I
here
agree
the
with that.
in
B2B still is very traditional in terms of talking to people, meeting people, and giving them a product and showing them a product and telling them, and then depend on the product as well. If your product is a tangible physical product, at some point you have to make sure that the user is touching and feeling the product. If your product is a software or a service, you can still take the entire process online. But if a product is tangible, then in the whole user journey, you will have to make sure you have to create a scope for people to use that, especially for B2B, because B2B may, it's not just one product that they're buying. It's going to be many to many products. You're not just selling them one product and then that's it. You're selling them like a chain of these robots, and you'll keep repairing those. AMC bhi doge. Just imagine this being another contract for selling them 1,000 laptops, for example. You have to show them the laptop. You have to show them how their laptops are better. You have to show them why, to come to our brand and so on. And you have to go and do this in person a lot rather than doing it online.
Yeah, sir. And one more thing, sir. In recent, I went to an expo where a lot of people were from these industries were showcasing their product. So what I have noticed that none of them were using something kind of like very good way of presentation and a kind of marketing strategy. But what we want that if there's a chance and if there is a scope of this using in this industry, so it will be very helpful for us to get some more consumers and to make our product more valuable. So
No, no, absolutely, absolutely. I'm not saying ये जो logos, prothos और ethos का जो combination है, it applies to one-to-one discussions. It applies to digital marketing. It applies to regular marketing. It applies to workshops. It applies to anything. Like you can do anything with these three things. These are the core principles of influencing something. So if you want to create a narrative for your product or a tagline for your product, use these.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. ले दे के देखो 8 लोग रह गए, कितना हो गया हमारा चर्न रेट, हमारा कन्वर्जन रेशो कितना हुआ, कौन बताएगा? 4 में से 3 तो हम ही हैं, 5 लोग रह गए, 25 में से 5, 20%, नॉट बैड. Okay, thank you folks who stayed back. I appreciate you taking your time and staying back and asking questions. I really really appreciate it. कोई भी स्टार्टअप, कोई भी आइडिया होता है उसको वी हैव टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग एंड कीपिंग इट एज आवर किड. जितना सीरियस होंगे, जितने सिंसियर होंगे, आप उतना आगे बढ़ेंगे. That's all I'll say. So good luck.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So me and Rani will stay as you said. Can you turn off the recordings?
Yes, I think we can.
Sorry?
Recording बंद कर सकते हैं
Can
हम.
you end the recording?
Yes, yes, yes.